before, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today.
Just ahead on American Sunrise, a deadly B-52 crash. Investigators now reveal how little time the aircraft spent in the air before it went down. We have the facts for you. Plus, the FBI says it disrupted an alleged plot to turn the White House UFC fight into a mass casualty attack. 5 people are in custody. Investigators say 23 people were allegedly linked to a potential network. Where does the investigation go next? We'll discuss. Also, later, President Trump says Iran may soon be in the rearview mirror. Now he's turning back to Russia and Ukraine. Can he bring both sides to the table where the peace push stands? Those stories, so much more as American Sunrise starts right now.
Good morning, America.
Welcome to American Sunrise.
Whether it's culture,
We have breaking news to share with you.
politics, President Trump is joining us live now from Florida.
We've got you covered.
This is what it looks like to be a patriot.
We have to protect the American family.
The American dream is still alive.
I'm David Brody.
I'm Terrance.
And I'm Dr. Gina. Good morning, I'm Dr. Gina. We are live with you from the Palm Beaches. Let's bring in Terrance Bates. He's in our Denver newsroom, and Beau Davidson, who's filling in for David Brody. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Dr. Gina.
Good morning.
And Beau.
And Beau.
Hey, guys. So, look, before we get to some of our big stories in our vamp, I'm sorry, but I've been chuckling all night about President Trump going to Versailles tonight to have dinner with Emmanuel Macron. I hope the president walks in and just immediately says, let them eat cake. Let all of them eat cake. Let them eat cake. I would get a kick out of that personally.
I think it could happen. He was just so excited to go there because it's so beautiful, and he loves beautiful places. So he was very excited. I thought that was adorable.
Yeah, who wouldn't want to go to Versailles? We'd all love to have dinner in Versailles. What a great honor.
Yeah, I missed that invitation today.
Did you? You know what? I'll call my people. Just fuel up the jet, Dr. Gina. If you can get there by this evening, you're good to go.
All right.
You're good to go.
Let's do it.
So look, here's another story that's right up your alley, Dr. Gina. The Trump administration keeping its promise of dismantling the Department of Education. The DOE actually sent letters to parents of kids with disabilities saying that the DOE, oversight of special education is now being moved to the Department of Health and Human Services. Civil rights programs are now going to be handled by the Department of Justice. And obviously, all of this is President Trump's efforts to get education efforts and education issues back to the states. What do you think of all of this, Dr. G?
Well, I wish you would abolish the DOE entirely. The word dismantle makes me a little nervous because it sounds almost like a reorganization. I think education, first of all, it's a rather new phenomenon. Don't forget that since the Department of Education was established, I forget what year, maybe 50 to 60 years ago, since it was established, we were always in the top 3 in the world in education. And since then, we are always in the very bottom in the world of education. So after all of the billions we've spent on education and on massive bureaucracies to indoctrinate our children, what do we have to show for it? Absolutely nothing, Beau.
Yeah, and as a mom who was a public educator for almost 40 years, I think this is kind of near and dear to my heart. In reading what Linda McMahon said, what I like about it, she said she's listened to parents. When's the last time anyone from the Department of Education listened to parents and teachers and students and found out what their individual needs are? When it comes to special abilities and disabilities in this case, apparently IDEA existed before the Department of Education, and she said it'll exist long after the Department of Education. And they're actually increasing spending on special disabilities. So, I think it's a great thing what's going on here, because simply Linda McMahon is listening to parents and finding out where the problems are and trying to direct those funds directly to the areas that need them most. So I actually think this is a pretty good idea.
Yeah, well, I hope, like I said, I hope the majority of it is privatized. I hope we have charter schools, magnet schools, all of those kinds of things. Private education, then people, if they want to give money to kids and it follows them, great. But I do not think that we need to have a great big bureaucracy to indoctrinate our children any longer.
All right. Well, we'll leave the conversation there for now. It will be a conversation we'll continue to have. In the meantime, Dr. Gina, would you give us our Bible verse?
Yeah, today it's from Proverbs 17:22. A merry heart does good like medicine, but a broken spirit dries the bones. Well, not a moment of bone drying here. President Trump's trip to the G7 summit continues, and they're denying that the U.S. is sending Iran money as part of the deal. Take a look at what he said about this. I believe this was this morning, if I have the right thought in mind.
President, can you press the MOU that's been reported includes...
Have I read it?
Well, it's been reported that it includes a $300 billion reconstruction fund funded by Gulf allies. That's false?
It's false. That people, you can invest if you want. I mean, what am I going to do, say nobody's ever allowed to invest? No, we're not investing. We're not putting up 10 cents, and people can decide to do that, but that's up to them. I mean, do you want me to say nobody's ever allowed to invest in a country? I'll say it with Egypt. Nobody's allowed to invest in Egypt. Am I supposed to say that?
I'm asking whether...
We are not investing in it, and we do not have a fund.
Are you asking Gulf countries?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Also, new details are emerging about a deadly B-52 crash that happened in California. Investigators say the bomber was airborne only a short time before it went down, killing all 8 individuals on board. The crash is the deadliest B-52 accident since 1982. Investigators continuing to examine the flight data, wreckage, and crew actions as they work to determine the cause of the crash. Let's bring in retired Naval Lieutenant Commander Steve Rogers. Steve, your reaction to both things, the Iran deal and the B-52 crash.
Well, with regard to the Iran deal, listen, I believe the President of the United States. I could tell you this, that I think the people in this country are sick and tired of the mainstream media continuing to manufacture news, to interpret things the wrong way. And to be frank with you, they're actually, and I know they don't like to hear this, but in my view, they're aiding and abetting our enemies in a propaganda war against our country and against the President of the United States. President Trump is a smart guy, knows what he's doing. I know he's under a lot of criticism over this deal, but let's wait and see what happens. So I have enough confidence in the president. I believe he's going to pretty much do what Ronald Reagan said we should do in cases like this: trust but verify. So I'm not concerned about what he's doing at all. With regard to the B-52, rather surprising. It's a very, very good aircraft. But as you said, Dr. Gina, they're going to look at the flight recorders, the cruise actions, maintenance records. Was it pilot error or was it mechanical? So the case is not closed on that, but we'll find out real soon what caused this very tragic crash.
Hey, Steve, want to really tap into your law enforcement chops, if you'll put on your law enforcement hat. The FBI obviously has disrupted an alleged explosive drone plot that was targeting the White House UFC event. That's according to officials. Several people arrested. We're also told that the network involved in the potential plotting of all of this is more than 20 people. What do you make of all of this? And how shocking is it that there would be even the gall to try and plot something like this against such a major event at the White House of all places?
You know, Terrance, you used a very interesting word, network. And my question is, by putting my law enforcement hat on, is how wide is this network? Look at to have people only 23 right now, and in multiple states, by the way. You're talking about California. Right. We're talking about transporting not only themselves, but weapons to Washington, D.C. And I've said for over and over and over again, since that border was opened by the Biden and Obama administrations, wondered how many terrorists were crossing the border. And it wasn't a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And my concern now is when. What's going to happen as we enter into the July 4th celebrations? So everyone's got to be vigilant. They've got to keep their eyes open. And in this case, Terrance and Dr. Gina, and I know there's a new fellow down there. How you doing? I haven't seen you before, but welcome. But I must tell you this, that one of the suspects, I think it was a mother who actually made the call to the
yes,
FBI.
It was.
And that goes to tell you, if you see something, you sense something, say something. As a result of that call, hundreds and hundreds of people's lives were saved. So there's my law enforcement hat. Be sober, right? There's a scripture, doesn't it say, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walketh about like a roaring lion. Well, we got a lot of roaring lions out there, so we need to be sober and be vigilant.
Well, Lieutenant Commander, as the new guy, I'm going to raise my hand and ask you a question because I should. So, sir, I do want to focus your attention to the G7. Pardon me. President Trump says his meeting with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky at the G7 summit was, quote, very good, and says he now wants to turn more attention to ending Russia's war in Ukraine. Trump told reporters he will do whatever I can to help push for a deal while urging Russia to come to the table. The comments come after Trump said Iran will soon be, quote, in the rearview mirror following a tentative agreement with Tehran. So, Lieutenant Commander, it just seems it was unfathomable that the Iran war could end, and it seems that maybe we're getting there. Could the war with Russia and Ukraine actually end too, or is that a bit short-sighted?
I believe it could end, and there's a consistency that the president has had that, again, the mainstream media and others just refuse to acknowledge. You know what that is? He's been consistent on he wants to save lives. He has said over and over and over again that the innocent people are being killed, whether it be Russian troops, Ukrainian troops, people are being killed senselessly. So I believe that because he's focused on that, he's going to somehow, some way, get Zelensky and Putin to sit down and end it. Look, they're both losing. Nobody's winning this war. They are both losing thousands and maybe close to 1 million people, including their military operations. So I have confidence and faith in this president that he'll get the job done.
Steve Rogers, we appreciate your time. Thank you for being with us.
Oh, it's a pleasure to see you, new guy. I salute you today. Take care, Terrance, Dr. Gina.
Great to see you, Steve. Thank you. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. But first, Real America's Music has another amazing release by, guess who? Some guy you might have heard of before. Our own Beau Davidson. Beau's new song is called Blessed. It highlights faith as a foundational part of our country. Scan the QR code on the screen to download the song. Now, here's a preview. Take a look.
My fondest memory of World War II was the day when victory was declared over the Axis.
Rav family, our very own Beau Davidson is releasing a powerful new patriotic anthem called Blessed, a heartfelt tribute to the brave men and women who served our nation and protected our freedom. We truly are blessed to be Americans. Scan the QR code now to download Blessed by Beau Davidson. And let's do our part to run this song up the charts as a thank you to those who served and sacrificed for our country.
Okay.
New guy, I appreciate you being on. It's always good to share a screen with you, new guy.
And we're both wearing kind of more of our light summer colors, aren't we, Terrance?
Absolutely. You know what? Today. As I was looking at this, this suit is comfortable, but I don't like it on TV. Like, it's too light. It's almost too. Mine is. And I was like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that this morning. Even
well, I've got like a khaki
anyway.
pinstripe, and I was worried about looking like Colonel Sanders, so let's hope that doesn't happen.
Not at all. Hey, Tracy, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Doing all right. How are you?
I am doing well. Big stories are the low in the Gulf and then a high risk for severe storms today for Illinois and Indiana.
Okay. Now, does the low in the Gulf mean that we're closer to a named storm, or does it take down those chances?
It doesn't really. It's kind of like lingering along the coast. So the latest update just came out at the top of the hour, and they still haven't named it.
Okay. All right, stand by.
Okay.
Sorry to cut you off. We're about 20 seconds out.
No, you're good.
This news break is brought to you by AMAC, Association of Mature American Citizens.
Welcome back to American Sunrise. I'm Beau Davidson, the new guy. We still have a lot more coming your way here. But first, here's Terrance Bates standing by with the latest headlines from the Real America's Voice newsroom, sponsored by AMAC.
The Association of Mature American Citizens is the conservative voice for Americans 50 and older. AMAC is fighting for the values that you hold dear. Join today. Together, we can write the course of America.
As President Trump and his administration near Friday's ceremonial signing of the peace deal with Iran that's going to happen in Switzerland, storm clouds appear to be forming over the relationship between the U.S. and Israel. While speaking at the G7 summit in France on Tuesday, the commander-in-chief calling out his Israeli counterpart about potentially derailing the peace deal.
Now, I'm not happy with the way Israel has handled themselves with Lebanon and with Hezbollah. They should have been able to do the job faster. It just goes on forever. And when that happens, it throws a negative light on the big deal, and that's the deal with Iran. I'll tell you what, Israel's fighting Hezbollah too long, and too many people are being killed. And you don't have to knock down an apartment house every time you're looking for somebody, because there are a lot of people in those apartment houses, and they're not all Hezbollah, that I can tell you.
Meantime, President Trump says he is willing to send his peace plan with Iran to Congress for the body's perusal, as lawmakers, including many Republicans, say they're in the dark about the agreement. Senate Democrat leader Chuck Schumer saying, quote, Trump has yet to give Americans reason to believe that this latest peace deal will not leave them disappointed again. The Trump administration is quietly chipping away at the Department of Education in its bid to dismantle the agency. On Tuesday, enforcement of civil rights in education was shifted to the Department of Justice. The Department of Health and Human Services will now oversee Special Education Administration. President Trump campaigned on shuttering the DOE, saying that the move will move the responsibility for education back to the states where it belongs. Only Congress can close the Department of Education, but Secretary of Education Linda McMahon has reached agreements with other federal agencies to handle much of the department's duties. And the Department of Justice is trying to put the country's first reparations program for black people on ice. The city of Evanston, Illinois, offered its black citizens $25,000 for its 20th century-based housing discrimination against those residents. $20 million has been set aside for direct descendants of black residents who suffered housing discrimination due to racist city ordinances and practices between 1919 and 1969. Evanston has already paid out more than $7 $7 million of the $20 million in that fund. On Tuesday, the DOJ asked a federal judge to stop those payments, calling them unconstitutional and racially discriminatory. A similar lawsuit against the city alleges the very same thing. Revenue for the fund comes from revenue from a local tax on legal marijuana sales. That's a quick check of your headlines. Now let's get a quick check of your forecast. Weather Nation meteorologist Tracy Anthony standing by with a number of major weather stories from the tropics to severe weather. You've got it all there in your forecast today, Tracy.
Yeah, I feel like I've been hinting at these stories all week because they've just started to ramp up, but today is the day that everything gets a little more aggressive. So let's start off here in the Gulf, where we do have this low that we've been watching. It's called PTC-1, or Potential Tropical Cyclone 1. Now, the way that this low is kind of meandering along the coast looks a little less likely that we will have our first named system of that Atlantic hurricane season. Either way, we are still talking deep tropical moisture and huge impacts for some of the coastal areas. So let me get back here to the other. This is kind of where we're expecting this storm system to track. Houston does still expect a good amount of rain, but we'll finally start to see the worst of that moisture shift east. So we do expect the hurricane hunters to get out and fly through that low. So we should have some more details from inside the storm later on today. So they leave from Lakeland, Florida at about 1 o'clock here this afternoon. Now, the other huge story is going to be the severe weather threat, and it's for some of the same areas that were just hit last week. Look at Peoria all the way into parts of Indiana. This is a moderate risk, so a level 4 out of 5 severe weather outlook. We don't have moderate risks issued that often, and we are expecting the potential for long duration powerful tornadoes, so EF3 tornadoes or greater. And just to kind of put into perspective, this was just last Thursday. This is just north of Peoria, Illinois, and these are the same areas once again under that moderate outlook for severe. So very important to stay weather aware. But a quick look at temperatures across the country. We are hot, we are humid, and a lot of us going to be battling heat index values in the triple digits. So definitely want to find ways to stay cool. Now my touch screen is going all over the place. Let's get those heat index values. This one. There we go. We're talking triple digits. So that's when it gets uncomfortable. Terrance, you in Denver, you guys have warmed up. You're going to be in the 90s as well.
I love it. That's right up my alley. And as long as I'm not in the PTC-1 area, I think I'll be happy with it. I like that, PTC-1. What did you say, Potential Tropical Cyclone 1?
Yeah, at this point, it's like, just name it Arthur for me so we can just, have a name with it. But it's not there yet, so they can't.
All right. See, at least I'm really listening to you. PTC-1. I remember that. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I didn't know that. All right, Tracy, we'll check back with you next hour and get your hometown forecast.
Sounds good. And don't forget to download the Weather Nation app.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. See you next hour. We're back with more American Sunrise after this. Hey, Pierce, did you guys make the playoffs? Okay, so please don't talk. When you guys make the playoffs, you can talk again, okay? Dude, any New Yorker now, you guys, the Knicks won. You guys are going to be talking for the next 50 years about how they won in 2026. Really? Okay, I get that. the Garden is an interesting place to me. Like, I was expecting a stadium, like, you know, a traditional standalone stadium. Like, when I went there, I felt like I literally came out of the subway station, walked down the corridor, and then I was in the stadium. Like, it didn't feel like going to a stadium. Yeah, like, oh, wow.
Welcome back to American Sunrise. You know how much I talk about the fundamentals of health. Well, listen to this. Nearly 1 in 5 Americans may be drinking water with elevated levels of nitrates. These nitrates are linked to cancer, birth defects, and so much more. That's at least according to a new report from the Environmental Working Group, which says more than 62 million people were exposed through their own community water systems between 2021 and 2023. Now, this group says agricultural runoff is a major source of the contamination, so glyphosates, like we talk about on this show every single day. I have someone here who knows this stuff backward and forward. I invited him to come talk to us about it again because we had so much fun the first time.
Great time.
Yes, here to weigh in is home improvement expert extraordinaire, Skip Bedell. Skip, I'm so glad to have you back. I'm so passionate about food, about medicine, about natural things. You don't want to put anything on your skin that you wouldn't eat, right? But yet, we drink things in our water every day, unbeknownst to us. And this is probably the most fundamental thing about our health. More than anything, this matters, right?
It really is. You know, I think we all take water for granted, but the fact is that our body is made up of a majority of water, and we use water for everything, whether it's cleaning or cooking, and there's so many other things than just drinking. But obviously, we have to drink the water, you know, all the time. So people use other alternate sources of drinking water, like bottled water and things like that.
Yeah.
And they're under the false security sense that I'm free of all the things that are in the water because I don't drink it.
Exactly.
You know? And that is the biggest misconception, because our body takes in a lot of those contaminants, nitrates, PFAS, the PFAs that we're finding, so many, all the heavy metals, lead, mercury, arsenic. The list is so long. They're detecting in water municipalities across the nation, not just in little pockets. It's everywhere. So you hit a good point with the agricultural runoff with the fertilizers, but it's also from industrial chemicals that are in manufacturing of everything that we have. It's all winding up in our water, and those things are all linked now to high levels of cancer. We're seeing big spikes in cancer, things like organ and liver disease, chronic fatigue, chronic inflammation, you know, joint pain all over your body, brain fog, things like that, which I'm sure a lot of people watching this can say, you know, you experience those things. And many of those problems come from our water.
Yeah, I mean, you can correct everything about your diet.
Yes.
You can correct everything about your living circumstances. You can mitigate your mold. You can do all the things. But if you're drinking the wrong water, and here's the thing, Skip, I'm that baseball mom of 5 kids, right, that traveled around with, thinking I was doing a good thing, with bottles of plastic water in the back of my car, right, and giving it to my kids after it sat in the sun, not knowing, you know, I didn't mean to do it, but I'm reading horrible things about bottled water now, so tell us.
It's all over social media. You can see it all over the internet. Studies now are showing that bottled water, especially in plastic bottles, is not the way to go because of the plastic leaches out into the water. Microplastics they're finding in everything. And those particles are so small, they get into our blood. They actually break the blood-brain barrier. They get in all the tissue of our body, and they're causing major havoc. Endocrine system breakdown, all sorts of hormonal problems, cancer, the list goes on. So the bottled water, unless it's in some other type of container, plastic bottles definitely no. And if you think about it, like you would never put a plastic container with food in the microwave and then eat from it. Like we know not to do that, right? But we don't think of that with the bottled water. And it comes from the manufacturing place. It goes in an unrefrigerated truck. It's hot. It goes to the storage warehouse where it's hot. You take it and put it in your hot trunk. Take it home, put it in your hot garage, and then we drink it.
And then we drink it.
We leave it in the hot car. So it's a problem.
And a lot of these waters really weren't sourced well to begin with. They're just selling it it because it's bottled, but it's bottled water you could get out of your tap maybe, right?
Yes, essentially, that's all it is.
Let's get down to brass tacks here.
Yes.
What do we do about this? The coolest thing is I found out about these Freedom water filters and had one installed in my house, and it has been life-changing for me, and I've said this on the show before. Skip, this is really an opportunity for people because the thing about it was I had the filter, I had the softener, I had the thing that made my water alkaline, right? The machine that made my water alkaline that I had to change all the filters on, and I had to remember when I did them, and it was creepy and made in China, and I couldn't find another one that was reasonably priced.
Right.
There is such a great option out there.
There really is, and I'm proud to say that I've also installed a Freedom water system filter in my home a number of years ago, and you're right, it was like somebody flipped a switch.
Yes.
It like literally flipped the switch. The water changed in every way, the way it smells, the way it tastes, the way it feels. You see no more residue on your glass, on your shower doors or on your dishes. But the most important thing is that unlike just a water softener where it's conditioning the water and taking out the minerals that damage your plumbing, this is also filtering and purifying the water, all with no maintenance. There's no filters to change. Like you were saying, the softener, you got to put salt in it and change cartridges. This is 100% maintenance free. And when I installed this in my home, I can tell you it was the easiest install ever. It took under an hour. And it was like somebody flipped the switch. The water is unbelievable. Alkaline quality drinking water to every faucet in your home now. Not just, people put a filter on the refrigerator or under the sink and they think if I'm drinking filtered water, I got to be good. You and I have spoken about this before. I think one of the biggest, false sense of securities here is that if you're only drinking filtered water, you're safe. And what people forget is that our skin takes in all those chemicals and toxins when we shower and bathe, way more than we could ever just drink.
Bingo. And Skip, this is such an important thing because my hair is better, my skin is better, and I'm a dog freak, as you know. I've noticed that when I wash my dogs, they stay clean longer. Can't make this up, right? Like, what more could you want? And the moment it was installed, I was like, this is my new best friend. It really is.
It's a life changer. It really is. And long-term major health effect. I know after I installed ours, I saw the first, obviously you're not seeing the residue on the glass. It tastes better, it smells better. But over long term, I feel so much better. I have better energy. The brain fog has gone away. I actually feel healthier since I've had this installed in my home. So that's a big thing.
And the lack of stress from just not having to worry about when do I have to change the filter, when do I have to add salt, when do I have to, when is my machine going to die? Because this has a 20-year guarantee.
It does.
Who does that?
It does. And it's made in America, which is great.
That's
it's a family-run business, all American components, American labor, and that's really important to me as well because, if you need any assistance or you have any questions to answer, you can get someone on the phone that can actually speak to you, a water specialist.
All right, you got to tell them, where's everybody going to go to get this whole house water system that does it all in one with zero maintenance, guaranteed for 20 years?
It does. If you go to the website at freedomwatersystems.com, and right now is a great time to get one because with the promo code Sunrise250, you can get $1,000 off right now. So it's a good time to get a water filter. Freedomwatersystems.com is the place you want to get it. And again, you're going to be glad that you did. It was definitely a life-changing experience.
You've got the code right there. Sunrise250 is the promo code. Skip Bedell, it's always so much fun with you.
Thank you so much for having me back. I absolutely will. Yeah, thanks for having me.
We're going to get everybody healthy in the meantime. Can't wait to hear your stories, by the way. Let us know how it goes. And thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. Okay.
Hey, Angie, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Who am I speaking with?
This is Terrance. How are you? Yes,
Hi
it
there.
is.
Nice to hear from you.
It's nice to hear your voice, and I will see you shortly. Looking forward to the conversation as always. Stand by.
All right, cool.
We're moving forward with the standalone extension of Fisa surveillance powers without.
That's what Gen Z can.
Are we frozen? Dr. G, you okay over there?
There you go.
Is she talking, guys? I can't hear her.
I'm muted now. Looky there. Looking pretty this morning. Welcome back to American Sunrise. I'm Dr. G. We are so happy you joined us. It is time now for our health news. It is sponsored by the Wellness Company and Under the Microscope today. People taking popular weight loss drugs like Ozempic and Zepbound may be moving less after starting the medications. A preliminary study presented at the Endocrine Society's annual meeting found that daily steps dropped from about 5,000 to under 4,500 after people began using GLP-1 drugs. Moderate to vigorous exercise also fell from 28 to 22 minutes a day. Researchers say that matters because these medications can lead to muscle loss as well as fat loss, and exercise, of course, should remain part of your treatment plan. It's almost like a chicken and egg thing, though. Like maybe people aren't exercising as hard because they're not trying as hard to lose the weight because it's coming naturally, and maybe they're feeling healthier. Who knows? Who knows the reason? All right, well, the Trump administration has brought a lot of positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. The reality, though, there's only so much government can do. If we really want to make America healthy again, it has to start at home with each of us, and that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from their doctors all the time. You know their products are the gold standard when it comes to keeping you safe and healthy. The Wellness Company makes sure you're prepared for whatever happens with their prescription med kits. These kits have an assortment of life-saving medications and guidebooks to assist in the use of the meds. Additionally, the Wellness Company offers a variety of products from parasite cleanses, methylene blue, weight loss, so much more. These can help you stay healthy and live a longer, more satisfying life. Make America healthy again. It's going to start at home every day. Do your part, protect the health of yourself and your family. Send it over to Terrance.
Thank you so much, Dr. G. Stick around because we want to talk about Senate Majority Leader John Thune, who says Republicans are moving forward with a standalone extension of FISA surveillance powers without attaching the Save America Act to it. Yeah, therein lies the issue. Thune says extending Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act is a top national security priority after the deadline passed Friday night. The move comes as President Trump pushes to link any FISA extension to the Save America Act, which of course would require proof of citizenship for federal voter registration. Let's bring in Miami GOP committeewoman Angie Wong to talk more about this and so much more. Dr. Gina also joining the conversation. Angie, so look, FISA, I think, is a critical tool at this point, particularly with all that we've got going on this summer, the World Cup being here in the United States, 250 celebrations, and then all of the other people who are here in this country. I think we need some added surveillance. It seems to make sense to me, your position.
Yeah, well, FISA is certainly an 80-20 issue, and most people in Congress, as well as national security experts, they want to have FISA or some level of it. Certainly, we want to protect Americans, and we want to make sure that there are warrants that are issued, that it's just not a blanket spy all. But, you know, for the most part, it has been beneficial, and lots of terrorism, domestic terrorism plots have been foiled because of this use. But again, tying it to the Save America Act, you know, clearly President Trump is trying to do something here. He wants John Thune to publicly say that he can't do Save America Act. And I think that is the position President Trump wants John Thune to be, to put him in an impossible situation. But the truth is, John Thune can do it. He just needs to filibuster.
Oh, sometimes the process of government is so frustrating, Angie. All right, speaking of frustrating, the Lion's Den is where Vice President J.D. Vance found himself yesterday. He went on The View. Here's an exchange on the economy. Take a look.
If you go back to the Biden administration, inflation got up to 9% under the Biden administration, okay? Right now it's at 3.5%. By the way, too high. We're doing everything that we can to bring it back down to 2.5%, which is where most people would like to see it. But we inherited an affordability problem. We're doing a lot to make it better. It's going to take a little bit of time. There's a lot more work to do. But the president knows that a lot of Americans are struggling. In fact, he ran on that. He talked about it. And we've done some things and made some good progress on that point.
He just said he loves the inflation.
What he said, Anna, what he said is that he loves the fact that the inflation is going to come down when this war is over. That's what he said.
That's not what he said.
That wasn't a direct.
Are you his interpreter or are you his vice president? Come on.
Well, look. What the president said. People were asking about the inflation. They were asking about the affordability problem, which again is very real. And what he said is, "I love the inflation because it's going to come down when the war is over." And now, again, we already see gas prices today, $4.06 a gallon, too high, but way down from where they were just a couple of weeks ago. So there's a lot we got to do, but I think that we're doing as much as we can. We're going to keep on working at it. And again, the American people are going to make their verdict.
All right, Angie, your reaction.
So brave of him to join The View. I love that he did that. He walked into the lion's den, as you said, and he
I want to ask you
it.
something. What's the political advantage here? Why did he do this?
I think because he could, and I think because he wanted to talk to the other side. He wanted to see how mean and nasty those girls would be, but they were pretty accommodating. They were charmed by him, it seemed. So I think that was a good move for him. I don't think he loses anything. And quite honestly, I think he only benefited from that. I'm actually happy to see J.D. Vance more out and in front, especially during this week. He's having a very, very important week, both on The View and then later on, perhaps on Friday with the Geneva signing of the U.S.-Iran deal. I think he's having a great week, and he looks like he's having a really good time talking to Joy Behar, who, quite honestly, the right-wing media has demonized her, so she's getting a lot of benefit from this as well. The View needed to do this. J.D. Vance is a good look.
And J.D. Vance, let's just be honest, we're also setting the stage for the midterm elections. So speaking of the midterm elections, there were several primaries yesterday. Georgia in particular won. President Trump's endorsed candidates once again winning. How much momentum is that setting, even months before the midterms in November, in terms of let's just say, in terms of Republicans winning the midterms and really getting momentum leading into that major election, that all-important election?
Yeah, Georgia's primary was a really important one for President Trump to win, because there's always been this kind of underlining fight between President Trump and Governor Brian Kemp, and they both had endorsed candidates that were opposing each other. Clearly, President Trump won that round. But, I don't know. I think that goes into not only 2026, but 2028 when the next presidential run happens. And I think President Trump is clearly the leader of the GOP right now. Even the local fractions of the GOP still, President Trump has the gold standard. And I think that's going to not only promise a 2026 win for the Republicans, but certainly a 2028 win, especially in a swing state like Georgia.
Angie, we only have about 15 seconds left, but I wanted to ask you, because you mentioned the Iran signing of the Iran deal, but President Trump spoke with the president of Egypt this morning and said that deal isn't finalized. What does that mean?
Yeah. And this is what's been such a wonder. So Sunday night, right before President Trump jumps on a plane to go to the G7, he wanted the headline news to dominate, to say that we have a framework for a peace deal with Iran. And then when he gets there, you have reporters from the FT and other newspapers saying, oh, here are the details. And then President Trump says, no, these details are fake news. So again, it tells me that President Trump could only control a few things of the deal, which is to remove the U.S. Navy and also to have a 60-day negotiation period for the future of Iran and nuclear powers. That's all he can do. Everything else is still on the table. If we can even get to Friday for a signing, this is going to be momentous. But I think that's why he asked J.D. Vance to go instead of President Trump being there for the signing in Geneva.
Angie Wong, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks, Angie. Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
All right, before we go to break, a very special announcement from our friends over at AMAC. This weekend, AMAC is having its boot camp for patriots. It'll be on Friday and Saturday. I want to be there so bad, but it is Father's Day. But be sure to reserve your tickets before they sell out. What a great treat for Father's Day if you're in the area. Here's a little preview.
Let's go!
Rav family, it's time to stand up and fight back.
We have to be tough.
Join fellow patriots at the America First Warehouse for AMAC's Boot Camp for Patriots.
Yes, sir!
An incredible two-day event designed to teach you how policy gets implemented, how grassroots movements create change, and how you can help shape the future of America.
Proud
proud and free and standing tall.
On June 19th, don't miss Real America's Voice live on site with a special taping of Live from Studio 6B, the Freedom Truck, live music and barbecue. And on June 20th, it's Vendor Village, followed by AMAC's Boot Camp for Patriots live event. Tickets are limited and going fast. Scan the QR code now and reserve your spot today. 2 days of training, fellowship, and action brought to you by AMAC. Get your tickets now before they're gone.
Good morning, Emily.
Good morning. Was that Beau?
How are you?
Yeah. Good morning, Beau.
Good morning.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me. I'm like, yeah, that's my boy.
Did you say he's on Fox Business today?
Yeah.
That is awesome. What is he doing?
Mornings with Maria for 3 hours.
Whoa.
I know. I'm a little bit of a nervous mom, but yeah.
What an opportunity.
Yeah.
Congratulations to him.
Yeah, thank you. I'll tell him.
She's a legend in the industry, obviously.
Oh, I love her. Yeah.
If anyone has not seen the Michael Jackson movie, I would absolutely recommend it.
I saw it. You know, I saw it and loved it.
I remember you said you saw it, and apparently you inspired Terrance Bates because she and the girls took me yesterday to go see it, and I loved it. I thought it was phenomenal.
All right, that's what I'm doing this weekend.
It was like, yeah, I thought it was phenomenal. In fact, it's the first movie I think I've ever literally sat through the very end of the credits until the music faded to nothing.
Oh, wow. I saw Disclosure Day last weekend and saw the previews for that Michael movie, and I was like, oh man, this looks really good too.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
Welcome back. Most of us apply pretty high standards to everything we let into our lives. What we read, who we trust, what we stand for. And then we start every single morning with a bag of coffee that says blend on it. From who knows where, roasted who knows when, with no idea what toxins you're inviting in with it. 1775 Coffee is one certified organic farm in Bolivia, ships direct to Miami and straight to your door. Small batch roasted in the USA, the kind of coffee that actually reflects the standards you hold everything else to. Drink coffee that doesn't just fuel your mornings, but fuels your body. Go to 1775coffee.com and use the code RAV for 15% off your order. All right, now that we are caffeinated, it's time to stay awake, not woke. And today we are discussing a new song release from Real America's Music. The new song is called Blessed, and it is by Rav's own Beau Davidson. It focuses on how faith is a foundational part of the country. Make sure to scan the QR code now at the bottom of your screen and support a conservative artist. Help get this song to #1. Let's watch a little preview.
My fondest memory of World War II was the day when victory was declared over the Axis.
Rav family, our very own Beau Davidson is releasing a powerful new patriotic anthem called Blessed, a heartfelt tribute to the brave men and women who served our nation and protected our freedom. We truly are blessed to be Americans. Scan the QR code now to download Blessed by Beau Davidson. And let's do our part to run this song up the charts as a thank you to those who served and sacrificed for our country.
Beau Davidson joins me now. Beau, you're a rock star. It was so cool to see you in that music video. I've had the pleasure of hearing you sing behind the scenes here in studio, in the office, but wow, it was so cool to be able to see that. Tell us more about the inspiration behind the song.
Well, Emily, I will say this. There was no, when you see me on the wing of that C-130, this was filmed a while ago. There's no AI used in that. That really is me standing on the wing of that plane. There's no AI used in the music. And I know we're just kind of in an era now where AI is used so frequently in music. And I just want to be clear that, you know, with the music and the music video, it really was done in a very organic, natural way. But, you know, you know, the promo mentions, you know, let's get this to #1. We did go #1 on Saturday, but the problem with being #1 is there's only down to go from there. So it's tough to sustain that type of momentum. But what I'd like to just say right now, Emily, is, you know, I've had a tough week. There's been a lot of responsibilities and stress on my shoulders. And people measure a lot of times success in terms of where you are on the chart. And I'm not going to do that. And I'll tell you why. Because to me, let me give you 3 examples of things how I'm measuring the song's success to me personally. There was a school that reached out to me from Dry Fork, Virginia. It's a Christian school there. And they wanted the song, the backing track for their Veterans Day program. That meant a lot to me. And then a woman came to me and said, hey, my son is going to be competing in the NATS competition, which is the National Association of Teachers of Singing. And he said he wants to sing Blessed, and he wants to do that as part of his competition. Not only did he sing it, he won. He continued to go on to the national competition for NATS. And then the third thing, and probably the most significant, is when the song comes on, whether it's on the phone or whatever it is, my son Alexander says, Daddy's song. And as I think about the legacy of a song, it's not going to be measured in numbers. It's not going to be measured in sales. It's not going to be measured in charts. If you can pass something down, if you can leave something with another generation, another human being, and even if it's one, in this case, maybe my son, that's what matters to me. So when we tell you to download the song, the reason that I want you to download it and to go share the video, and really it's about sharing it, is because there's someone out there that maybe needs to hear it. That needs to have a patriotic inspiration in them, that some school or some church or someone wants to perform this thing or use the sheet music for it, and I'll gladly give it to you. So for me today, Emily, I just want to say that in terms of success, that's how I'm going to measure it. The films and the TV shows it's been a part of, great. #1, great. But the truth of the matter is what matters in my heart is that people are affected by it. And those 3 examples I gave you mean the world to me.
That is so incredible to hear all of this, Beau. Your song is already having such a tremendous impact, and the success, like you said, certainly can be measured in the people that are able to hear it and the people that are able to be inspired by this song. So cool that you mentioned your son and mentioned family. Family is absolutely everything. Beau, before we let you go, what is coming next from you? Do you have any songs in the works?
Yeah, I've got another album planned, but I'm actually taking this song Blessed and translating it into Spanish and Portuguese. I want the Hispanic community and the global community to hear this song in a way they've never heard it before. And I want to encourage them as they listen to the song to really let those lyrics sink in. So I'm working ardently right now on that translation. So that's what's coming next.
Getting that reach even further, making even more of an impact. Beau Davidson, congratulations on your song, and thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks, Sam.
Coming up, they appear throughout Scripture, but how much do we really know about angels? Bible history guy Jim Mosley reveals what the Bible says next on American Sunrise.
Oh no, what'd you do?
Hey, Beau.
Oh, that's so sweet of you. How
Beau,
sweet.
You are awesome. I love your story, and I love your perspective on all of that.
Yeah, it's just
awesome.
I really have had a tough week, and you know, it's to be honest, Terrance, it's made some of the success like I can't even enjoy it, if that makes sense. You know, when they say people achieve certain levels of success and milestones, it's like they can't appreciate it, and I haven't been able to, because I've just had so much on my shoulders with my son, with the newborn, going to swim lessons, and it's like, and that's part of life. You know, it's just part of life. But yeah. Those 3 examples I gave you, like I said, when my son lights up and says "Daddy's song" because he hears it, there's nothing better. There just isn't. Yeah, no matter what the song is, I don't care. You know, at that point, that's what matters. So it's just, I appreciate that, Terrance.
No, when you were talking, I was like, I want to reach to the screen and hug him.
What'd you say, Terrance? Sorry about that. I missed that last part.
No, I was just saying, as you were talking, I just wanted to reach through the screen and hug you. I love your perspective. So, hey,
well,
Jim, what's going on? I'm sorry I'm taking your time. How you doing, brother?
No, I thought you said you wanted to reach through the screen and slug him. I was a little upset.
You know I'm a lover, not a fighter, Jim.
Okay, I'm glad I heard wrong.
God bless the...
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
Welcome back to American Sunrise. It is time now for our moment of faith, brought to us by Lee Greenwood and the God Bless the USA Bible. And in focus today, did fallen angels marry human women and create a race of giant hybrids before Noah's flood? Many books and movies, documentaries, and internet videos say yes. But does the Bible teach that, or does it say something incredibly different? Well, here to help us analyze this is our good friend Jim Mosley, the author of The Duke of D.C., The American Dream, discovering Jesus' disciples, who they were, what they believed, and what they achieved. Jim also co-wrote a book with Dr. Gina, The Days of Creation by Heart, teaching children how God made the world. But around here, we simply call him the Bible history guy. And they call me the new guy, so we've got good titles, Jim. What can you tell us, Jim, about this subject?
Well, yeah, that's one of the most popular claims about Genesis 6, that fallen angels came to earth and they married human women and produced a race of giant hybrid beings called the Nephilim. Well, it's dramatic, it's exciting, and it's also not in the Bible. Genesis says the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful and took wives from among them. Then Genesis says the Nephilim were on the earth in those days. Notice what's missing. The text never says the sons of God were angels. It never says angels married women. It never says angels fathered children. And it never explicitly says the Nephilim were the offspring of those marriages. Those ideas come from the book of Enoch. That's a book that claims it was written by the patriarch Enoch, but in fact, it was written thousands of years later by an unknown author. Enoch describes angels called watchers descending to earth, taking wives, producing giant offspring, and corrupting mankind. And the problem is that's just not in Genesis. In other words, people are using Enoch to explain Genesis rather than using the Bible to explain Genesis. And there's another problem. If the Nephilim were angel-human hybrids, and if God sent the flood to get rid of them, well, the flood was spectacularly unsuccessful because when the spies entered Canaan later on in Numbers 13, they reported seeing Nephilim in the land. They were back. So either the angel-human hybrids survived the flood, or there was another angel-human hybrid invasion after the flood, and that's just ridiculous. So the simpler explanation is the Nephilim were just human beings. And then we have the testimony of Jesus, who said in the resurrection, he said, in the resurrection, we'll be like angels. We will neither marry nor be given in marriage. I think that means that he's saying angels don't procreate. And in the resurrection, when we arise, we're not going to produce offspring anymore either. To be fruitful and multiply was the command given to Adam and Eve and to Noah, not to angels. And then consider this. Genesis 4 traces the descendants of Cain. Genesis 5 traces the descendants of Seth. Cain's descendants moved away from God. Seth's descendants called on God. And then the Bible says that the sons of God, the line of Seth, began to find the daughters of men, the line of Cain, attractive. They married, and so what happened is all of humanity became more wicked. It wasn't the corruption of DNA, it wasn't the invasion of angels, it was humans becoming too ungodly that God sent the flood to correct.
Well, Jim, thank you so much for enlightening us on that. That's a very interesting subject. The closest thing I've seen to a Nephilim might be that Wemby player from the San Antonio Spurs. He's a pretty big guy, but that is a very interesting concept, and I'm glad that you prepared it and explained it in such an interesting way that we can all understand. So, Jim, thank you so much for explaining that for us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And we will be back with the second hour of American Sunrise in 2 short minutes. Stick around. Can Terrance hear me?
Tracy.
Hey, Terrance.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Terrance?
Yes.
Since
I hear
you mentioned
Tracy,
it, and I think you,
yes, sir.
And I think you were smart to mention it. Since they haven't started that press conference, do you want to talk about it or mention it at the top of this next hour, since we could cut into it?
Sure, absolutely. I think that's a good idea.
I thought that was
a
good suggestion by you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, absolutely. At least tease that
Smart.
we're expecting him to be speaking there. Yeah, that works for me.
Because we didn't do it in the first hour, did we? And I was just fully expecting in the middle of my interview to be like, okay, here he comes.
Yeah, I was hoping that he would be on time, but as with most things, he's a little bit behind.
Not such luck.
At this point,
Right.
in the second hour. Yeah.
Is that him on the boat right there? Trump over there in France on the boat?
Yeah, he's making his approach.
Terrance, I'll never forget in Memphis, my mom took me to see Don Johnson back in the Miami Vice days when he was doing Miami Vice. And he came to Mud Island on a boat. And we were all waiting for him. And he made this grand entrance on a boat. And I thought Don Johnson was like the bee's knees because of that. I still love Don Johnson.
He was very cool back then. Like his the espadrilles with no socks and, the colorful jackets with the rope. Oh, yeah, he was the man for sure.
Well, when I'm filling in again, whenever it's next, maybe I'll wear something really colorful like Don Johnson. We can talk about it. Maybe like a pink jacket or something. Something real bright.
Hey, did you know, what's the boy's name? He was part of that boy band. Okay. Congressman Weber, Terrance Bates here. How are you, sir? Always good to see you.
Good morning, Terrance. Glad to be here. We appreciate y'all.
Thank you. Looking forward to this conversation. A lot happening.
Oh, man, is there?
Okay.
Oh, man.
All right, coming up on the second hour of American Sunrise, Senate Republicans block another effort to rein in President Trump's war powers as a peace deal with Iran begins to move forward. We're going to have the latest details on all of this straight ahead for you. Plus, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu moving forward with military operations against Hezbollah in Lebanon, risking further fractures with President Trump as 47 moves to end conflicts in the region. We're going to discuss all of that in this hour. Also ahead, Democrat donors and strategists intensifying their search for the next Barack Obama. Yeah, not finding it. Current household names fail to drive the same enthusiasm the party enjoyed back in 2008. We're going to break all of this down. What does it mean for the future of that party and our country? Those stories, so much more as the second hour of American Sunrise starts right now.
Good morning, America.
Welcome to American Sunrise.
Whether it's culture,
we have breaking news to share with you.
Politics.
President Trump is joining us live now from Florida.
We've got you covered.
This is what it looks like to be a patriot.
We have to protect the American family.
The American dream is still alive.
I'm David Brody.
I'm Terrance.
And I'm Dr. Gina.
Welcome back to this second hour of American Sunrise. I'm Terrance Bates. We appreciate you being here with us on this Wednesday morning. I'm coming to you from our Denver newsroom. Let's bring in Dr. Gina. She is in our West Palm Beach newsroom, or the Palm Beaches, as she also says. Beau Davidson, also there in Florida. He's in for David Brody this morning. Lady and gentleman, good morning to both of you. Still awaiting President Trump. We're hearing that he is going to be speaking at some point in time this morning, very likely during this program. We, of course, will take you to the G7 G7 summit and hear his remarks live. But Dr. Gina, the president has been super busy. Like, he's definitely the Energizer Bunny. I'm over here knocked out, and that man he's holding bilaterals and he's at dinners and lunches and he's still coherent. That's what I'm really most impressed about.
I know. I'll tell you, I've told this story to you all before, but I remember flying with him. And when he flies, the 20-year-olds are dragging by the end of the day. And he's still going, thinking of one more thing he can do. Go until 11, 12 o'clock at night, up at 4 or 5 o'clock every single morning. He's like that when he's here in Palm Beach, too, and he's not even working. He'll get up those times. He'll stay up. He'll be the last one. I'm thinking I've got to work tomorrow, and he won't leave the dining room until 11 o'clock because he just goes around table to table and visits everybody. He just has a ton of energy, and I wish I could lasso a little bit of that and just spread it around our morning show, Beau.
I know.
You need it extra.
I won't forget when you were in a trip in France not that long ago, you brought back berets for everybody, and I still have that beret. And I was thinking about that, and Terrance, I hope you have one too, because it's exciting since the three of us are jet setting over to Versailles tonight to have dinner with the president and Emmanuel Macron. So I'm going to be wearing my beret, Gina, that you gave me. So I'm very excited about this.
Yes, that'll be so great. I can't wait for that.
Yes,
if only.
And I'll be wearing a tux with tails. I'm going to outdo both of you. A tux with tails. I might even bring out a top hat. How about that? So as you were mentioning, President Trump is wrapping up his visit to France for the G7 summit today. Later this hour, 47 scheduled to hold a bilateral meeting with the Prime Minister of India. He'll then follow that up with a press conference next hour and a bilateral dinner with French President Emmanuel Macron at the world-famous Versailles Palace, as we just mentioned. Mr. Trump will return home to Washington immediately following that dinner. The Trump administration is quietly chipping away at the Department of Education in its bid to dismantle the agency. On Tuesday, enforcement of civil rights and education was shifted to the Department of Justice. The Department of Health and Human Services will now oversee official education or special education administration. President Trump campaigned on shuttering the DOE, saying that the move will move responsibility for education back to the states where it belongs. And the Department of Justice is trying to put the country's first reparations program for black people on ice. The city of Evanston, Illinois, offered its black citizens $25,000 for its 20th century-based housing discrimination against those residents. $20 million has been set aside for direct descendants of black residents who suffered housing discrimination due to racist city ordinances and practices between 1919 and 1969. Evanston has already paid out more than $7 million of that $20 million in the fund. Tuesday, the DOJ asked a federal judge to stop the payments, calling them unconstitutional and racially discriminatory. That's a quick check of your headlines. Now let's get a quick check of your forecast. Weather Nation meteorologist Tracy Anthony standing by with your hometown forecast. Tracy, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Terrance. Now we're just having a little fun with it as well. With Seal the Deal dropping down Tornado, West Virginia. So some towns that are relevant, but towns I've never heard of before either. So 87 degrees in Tornado, West Virginia. We will have those showers and storms knocking on your doorstep by Thursday, and then we'll stay dry as we start into the weekend. Now, yesterday in Cloverdale, Indiana, this was a photo our very own Rav Mod sent it in. So I didn't see any tornado reports, but you can see that circulation. It's really hard to really get a good grasp on what's going on when it's a still photo and not a video. Could be some scud clouds as well. So either way, these areas are going to get hit once again today. So we're going to take you out. Her family is in Rockville, Indiana, and it's those storms. The good news is, once we get through the day today, those storms clear and we'll have a nicer forecast. Last stop, Perry, Illinois, 86 degrees today. They're bracing for the storms. The warm front is working on through, and then we're going to have the cold front, and that cold front is going to spark some supercells, and we have an outlook for EF3 or stronger tornadoes. So areas like Kankakee hit pretty hard
in March. So once again, we've got that elevated tornado threat pretty far to the north. Now, the other big story is the Gulf, and we are cluttered with flood watches, tropical watches, and coastal and marine alerts. So flooding is likely to continue here throughout the day today, and onshore winds will also cause some concern. So Terrance, those are the two big stories, and all of our hometown forecasts came from that severe side.
All right. Thank you so much, Tracy. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah. See ya.
All right. Let's move on now to more news of the day. Senators voted 48 to 47 against advancing a Democratic-led resolution that would have required congressional approval for continued military action against Iran. 4 Republicans, namely Bill Cassidy, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, and Rand Paul, joined most Democrats in support of the measure. Pennsylvania Democrat John Fetterman, however, sided with the GOP. The vote comes as Iran envoys, now say peace with the United States depends on an Israeli withdrawal from Lebanon. Joining us now with reaction is Texas Congressman Randy Weber. Congressman, good morning. Always good to see you. Let's just jump right into it. Earlier this morning, while meeting with Egypt's President Trump, saying that this deal isn't necessarily final, he also said that he reserves the right to back out of it if he doesn't feel that Iran is actually holding up its end of the bargain. As a layman, that says to me, there's not really a deal. There's just this memorandum of understanding, not much more. How do you see all of this, and can you give us more perspective, from maybe a more informed position than most of us have? You obviously have access to more information.
Well, thank you, Terrance, and thank you all for what Real America's Voice does every day, getting the word out, especially from a biblical perspective. I love that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Pardon me. And Beau, you haven't had to endure me any, so welcome aboard. We're glad you're there.
I'm excited.
Let me put a little bit of a historical perspective. I'm a little bit of a historian. I follow what happens when the presidents speak. In 1982, President Ronald Reagan, on June 17th, today, said this: agreements on arms control and disarmament can be useful in reinforcing peace, but they're not magic. We should not confuse the signing of agreements with the solving of problems. President Trump gets that. He knows that. You can't trust killers. You can't trust the Iranians. You can't blame our good friends and our Jewish friends in Israel, especially Benjamin Netanyahu, for wanting to do away with Hezbollah in Lebanon. And how is it that the Iranians somehow get to use that as leverage? You can't trust them. Here's a perfect example.
Congressman Lita Thune said earlier this week the Senate aims to pass an extension of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act without the Save America Act attached to it. President Trump has stated he will not back a FISA extension without the Save America Act. Meanwhile, some Republicans in the House are pushing to require warrants for FISA searches involving American citizens. What's your take on that?
You know, when Comey went in there, when they were talking, when President Trump ran and Hillary was running, when they came out with the fake Russian dossier, if you will, and we actually go into what's called a SCIF, Dr. Gina, Secure Classified Information Facility, we get to see the information that the public can't see. When we found out that top level people, especially like Comey, for example, were conspiring to keep Trump from getting elected, we were miffed. And FISA is to protect us from those foreign people, those foreign agents that would do us harm, Foreign Intelligence Survey Act. And and as you know, we've even got people who are local now that they found out was trying to target the White House with all these weapons. Was that yesterday that came out? We had better have FISA in effect. President Trump is in charge now. No more Jim Comeys. You're not going to see that kind of abuse. We better get it passed. We better get it passed quickly. We've got a lot of soccer stuff going on. We got a lot of foreign people over here. We had better get it passed.
Amen to that. Well, Congressman, you're reaching across the aisle. You and Democrat Congressman Dave Menn recently introduced legislation known as the Tax Relief for First Responders Beneficiaries Act to help families of fallen public safety officers receive full benefits. Tell us more about that and why that's so important right now.
Well, thanks, Beau, for the question. Here's the truth of the matter. There are 4.5 million public safety officers serving our communities across America. Every year, the average public safety officer, can you listen to this, answers more than 1,300 calls for help. They respond to car accidents. They respond to house fires. They respond to medical emergencies, natural disasters, and some of the worst moments in people's lives. Most Americans will never, ever know what it's like to leave for work, not knowing whether they're going to come home that night. Their families don't know that. They need this kind of support. We should be in favor of supporting. And look, those people who aren't in favor of our great law enforcement, why is that? Why do they complain about illegal aliens getting deported who aren't even supposed to be here? I don't understand those people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Congressman Randy Weber, we thank you again for joining us today. It's always great to have you.
Yeah. Well, thank you. We appreciate y'all again. And Beau, welcome on aboard.
Thank you, sir. This was an enlightening experience. So thank you for entertaining me. I appreciate it. That was wonderful, sir.
Stay tuned. You're going to get a little bit more enlightened as time goes by.
Okay. I'm willing to learn.
Well, speaking of enlightening,
Good day,
there's
y'all.
more American Sunrise coming at you all in just 2 minutes. We're back in a moment.
All our watchers. Oh, man. Live on YouTube and MySpace.
Hey, Dr. G, thanks so much for taking that for me. I don't know why I froze. Thank you.
It happens. I've been doing it all day. You're welcome.
It was just like, you know how you just look at the prompt and you're like, yeah, that says me, and you're still trying to figure out, like, I'm looking, I was like, okay. Well,
You're so good about it, Terrance. I honestly thought I must be reading it wrong. And then I'm like, no, I don't think I am.
No, you were absolutely right. It just, I don't know. I was just confused. I don't know. It's one of those mornings. I'm getting there.
It is. It really is. Oh, you have no idea what this is probably the hardest show I've ever done today because I am having a day.
All right. Well, I'm sending a hug your way. Whatever is going on, I'm sending big hugs your way.
Thank you.
All things skincare today because skincare health is bodily wealth. And I'm with Dr. Gina today, certainly a skincare expert. And we want to talk about exosomes today. Now, I'd never really heard of this technology. So first of all, Dr. G, what are exosomes?
Well, exosomes are basically the communicators between your cells. They're like a text message, cell to cell. Now we can understand,
That's
right?
A good way of explaining it. Yeah. Well, I'd heard that doctors put exosomes onto a wound for regenerative healing.
Yeah.
And now that technology is in these products. So the line we're talking about is a new line of exosome-based skincare called exoceuticals. That's what you're seeing in the products here. So first of all, let's talk about the science behind it, Dr. G, and the delivery system that gets the product into the skin, or what they call bioavailability.
Right. It's basically the real meaning of bioavailability, if I can get the word out, is just speaking your body's own language. Your body already knows how. So one of the things I love about the products, I use them myself. One of the things I love is that when you normally put on a product, you can feel the product on your skin.
Yeah.
You can feel it. You feel it right when you first put it on, then it's very quickly absorbed because your body knows how to use it. Your body, all the codes are the same. Your body knows exactly what to do with it, so it's very quickly absorbed on a deeper, more cellular level than something that you're just putting on topically or chemically.
So not all skincare is the same. This is giving a delivery mechanism that's far more easily absorbed and goes right to work on your cells.
Exactly, because your body knows what to do.
And this exoceuticals line includes products for skin, eyes, and lips. Talk about some of these, and let's show some before and after photos to see what the results are.
Yeah, well, one of the really exciting things is, just for people who have had maybe sun damage or, darker skin in certain areas, things like that, these products go right to work on that and make amazing differences in really a fraction of the time that you might have to use another product. And it's because of that communication we're talking about. It goes in, it directly communicates with our own cells and says, hey, cell, let's heal. And that's kind of how this whole messenger system happens. So for anybody really who, no matter what your age is, no matter what your gender, these come in men's and women's products. My husband also uses them. He looks hot. I'm just going to say it. And but for after sun, even before sun, I use the products every single day underneath my makeup. My makeup goes on better. It feels better. It doesn't have that heavy feeling, and it spreads more evenly. Hair products, you name it. I especially love the lip products and the sun products.
Well, you mentioned stuff for guys and your husband, and so it's summer now. We're all out in the sun. I mean, you're going to see the effects of sun. It ages you, obviously. So what are some things for men that you mentioned, like for your husband and even myself, that we could benefit from?
Well, the great thing about these products, as I said, is they really kind of cut across, ages. Any age is going to benefit from helping your cells to communicate better with one another. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, right? Your skin is going to look better, feel better, be healthier at the cellular level with the exoceuticals. And so that's what's great. But what I love about this company is they do make men's and women's products. We have varying needs for moisture and things like that in our skin. So the men's and women's, that's basically the difference. But if you want to know, if I forget mine or something and we're on vacation, I've used my husband and it works just fine. My husband's exoceuticals work just fine too. So it's a great product. I'm so excited about it. People do ask me a lot what I use for skincare, because when you do what we do and you got to be on every day, you got to think about it. Whether you're a guy or a girl really doesn't matter. And these products are really the answer. They've really changed and revolutionized what skincare means.
Yeah, and also we've got Father's Day coming up, so I got to say, if you're looking for a great Father's Day gift, I would have to think that this would be an amazing product to get.
It would, and you'd be surprised how much men appreciate. I give it a lot as gifts as well. You'd be surprised how much men appreciate the subtle nod of, I know you care about having healthy skin too. Here's some exoceuticals for you.
Well, it's a great product, and we want to make sure to all our watchers, our listeners, and viewers out there that 30% off is the code that you need to be able to purchase these and get a discount. 30% off. Looking at that QR code. It's an amazing sale because these are not inexpensive products. I mean, this is something that is actually a high quality product. Not all skincare is the same. So if you want what's good that will absorb into your skin using this incredible medical technology, this is what you need. So that's exoceuticals. Make sure you scan that QR code for 30% off of your order only for our RAV audience.
Jeez, that was
we were awesome.
You could literally sell real estate on my forehead. I can never have that side of the camera again. Sorry. I don't know, man. I think my forehead might be higher than yours. We can measure later.
Hey, is Francis up yet, guys? Francis, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Terrance here. Looking forward to the conversation. Stand by.
Okay, perfect. Yes.
All right. Beau.
Yes.
You mentioned swim lessons. How is that going for the kiddo?
I'll tell you how it's going. Monday, it got rained out because there was a storm in the area. Yesterday, it was threatening again, but we took him. They canceled the 5:30 class. He's in the 6. We get him in the water. 5 minutes in, they pull us out of the pool, canceled again. So we haven't even had a proper one yet.
Oh, wow. Well, I can tell you it will never be worse than the Bates girls. We did. In fact, you'll appreciate this. We took classes in Bartlett. It was like an 8-week class. And for 8 weeks straight, my child was the only child in the pool screaming bloody murder.
Well, so it's funny you say that because I've had Alexander in our pool. Of course, it's just me and him, and he's been doing great. Yesterday, he was screaming at us, and I told Alice, I was like, I think he's the loudest one. She's like, no, there were other kids screaming. Well, it sure seemed like he was the loudest. So he's got a set of lungs on him. I'm like, I don't know why he's freaking out. Like, he's done all this before. All you're doing is kicking your legs, man. And he didn't like floating on his back. I think he felt vulnerable. But, you know, we just got to work him into it. And it was kind of a bit of a chaotic scene.
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead, scan the QR code now.
Welcome back, everyone. We're getting ready for the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange. It's set to ring here in about 8 minutes or so. We, of course, will take it to New York for that here in just a little bit. Kind of a mixed bag, as you can see here on our big board. We'll, of course, keep you updated as some spots are red, some spots are in the green. Hopefully, by the end of the day, everything will be in the green, and you'll have a pretty good day of trading. Meantime, there's a new CNBC survey out of Fed watchers that found that the Federal Reserve, now led by Chairman Kevin Warsh, is expected to keep interest rates pretty steady for the foreseeable future as officials continue to grapple with persistent inflation and uncertainty surrounding energy prices. Economists surveyed by CNBC say they don't expect rate cuts in the near term, with many believing that the central bank will either remain on hold or keep those interest rates steady. There are some who even believe there may be a rate hike by the end of this year. All eyes now on Kevin Warsh's first Fed meeting and his initial comments as chairman, investors, of course, looking for clues about how he plans to steer monetary policy in the months ahead. We're expecting that first announcement to come today. Joining me now with analysis is economic strategist and wealth manager Frances Newton. Frances, welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
So what is your expectation of what we'll hear from Kevin Warsh today, of what the body will do, what the Fed will ultimately do?
So just the forecasting that we've kind of seen and heard thus far from him, we're not sure exactly culturally. We're looking for cultural changes around the statement, the length of the statement. What is the word count? What is changed about the statement? They have their infamous dot plot. Does he put a dot on the dot plot? Does he agree with the dot plot? Just looking to see culturally how he's going to lead the Fed. As far as interest rates, I imagine that they're going to hold steady. The inflation readings are too high. And I think there may be some commentary in the press conference around the fact that the uptick in oil and gas prices has been due to a supply constraint because of the war, the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, instead of an interest rate situation. So I think he's going to remain pretty neutral on that. Obviously, the administration would like to cut rates because of the amount of interest we owe on the federal debt and how much that's costing taxpayers. But inflation is running a little hot, so probably that's not going to happen today.
I like your use of the word culture. Is Kevin Warsh going to be able to change the culture of the Fed, particularly, and I think this is probably the more important part of this question, given that Jerome Powell, the former Fed chairman, remains on the board? I'm sure he's still going to have some influence, even though he's not the chairman.
Yeah, I don't know. Kevin is a one man, he's one man on the committee, right? So the Fed chair can lead a lot of the agenda items and stuff like that, but they can't, singularly pick the direction of rates, just being on the committee. I don't know how much influence Jay Powell is going to have. I would say that if I were in Kevin Warsh's shoes, I would come with mechanical, empirical, numerical things and try to appeal to the committee in that way, in that sense, rather than get into kind of these cultural wars or get into any kind of debates about what's happening with the administration or the White House, just because I think that really at the end of the day, markets and even the plumbing in the banking system, credit spreads, things that determine, how healthy the economy is, they're really all numerical. And so for me, even I try to kind of back it out of the political debate and get back into the mechanics and what can be adjusted that will make a tangible difference to, American people.
Yeah, while you and probably most people should be focusing on what you call the mechanics of what Kevin Warsh ultimately does, do you think that the markets are going to respond to some, or the idea, if you will, of potential political pressure based on whatever we hear from Kevin Warsh today?
I think that the front end of the curve or short-term rates will be volatile around his statements and around what happens in the press conference. And obviously, it's just going to be eagle eyes. And it's going to be interesting to see how long the press conference is, how many questions he takes, what is the tone of people who challenge him, both on, more of the mechanical issues, more of the political issues. And so today is going to set a precedent for how he's going to kind of have leadership at the Fed. I do think that the front end of the bond market is going to be volatile during this time, but I think it'll be interesting to see where it settles out.
And before I let you go, obviously President Trump has come out and said that he wants interest rate cuts. I've actually read a lot lately that there are some people who think that there's actually going to be interest rate hikes before the end of the year. Where do you stand on all of that? What is, looking into your crystal ball, what are you seeing?
Right. So I wouldn't bet necessarily on my crystal ball, but the thing that I see is that really the uptick in inflation was largely due to the rise in oil and gas prices. So that was due to a supply constraint caused by the war in Iran and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. Now, whether we get a deal with Iran or Trump, starts the strikes again, I don't know. But interest rates have what they call long and variable lags. Okay, so you can't really fix a supply chain constraint issue immediately with interest rates. And so my prediction, my crystal ball, is they are going to stay pat today, not change anything about the Fed funds rate in anticipation of watching whether or not, the sell-off in oil continues, whether or not we get a deal in Iran, and whether or not that takes some of the air out of the hot air balloon of inflation from those things.
All right, Frances Newton, we'll have to leave the conversation there. Good to see you. Thanks so much for your perspective.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, let's get ready for the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange. It's sponsored by AMAC.
The Association of Mature American Citizens is the conservative voice for Americans 50 and older. AMAC is fighting for the values that you hold dear. Join today. Together, we can write the course of America.
It's right at 7:30, which means the stock markets are set to open quite literally any second now. You hear the applause right there. There's a look at the podium. Looks like Valmont is at the podium. And now, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The market's officially open. You hear the bell. Here's a quick look at our big board. The good news is it's green. The major indices, the Dow, S&P 500, and NASDAQ are all up right now, all in the green. Hopefully it stays that way throughout the day. But you just heard from our guest that given Kevin Warsh the new Fed chairman's announcement, there are going to be lots of eyes on what happens with the Fed, which ultimately could impact the markets. And just as quickly as I said, the Dow was up. Well, it's back up now. It went red there for a second and it's back up. We'll continue to monitor all of this for you throughout the day. Still to come here on American Sunrise, Democrats are still searching for their next Barack Obama as high-profile names signal interest in a 2028 run for the White House. So could 2028 be a repeat of 2008? Excuse me. We'll discuss after the break. We're also keeping an eye on the G7 summit over in France. President Trump expected to take this podium at any moment. The moment he does, we'll take you there live. We're back in a moment. Apologies if you're upset with me for the ad lib, but when I saw the shot, I was like, at least, we can get a news tease in there.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So we're getting close, you think? Boom, dum, dum, dum.
Ooh-wee. I love the summer, but I hate working in the summer because I never get to sleep at a decent time. Like, it's light outside and there's so much going on. I feel like I'm up until, 11 o'clock at midnight. Hey, Robert.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Good morning, Robert. Thanks for being with us today.
Say that again.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Okay. Hey, Robert, by the way, President Trump may come out and speak during our segment, just FYI, so we may have to preempt at least some of the segment. We're kind of playing it by ear, obviously. When the president speaks, we listen. So I just want to give you a heads up.
That's fine. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Welcome back to American Sunrise. I'm Dr. Gina. We thank you for joining us this morning. We invite you to hop in our conversation over on Getter and Rumble, and especially YouTube, which is commercial free if you want to hop in the chat there. Time now to take the political pulse of America. Here is the beat today. Democrats looking for their next political superstar. Many within the party asking a big question, though. Could we find somebody like him, they're asking themselves. Well, that party is grappling with losses among working class voters and searching for a new generation of leaders, strategists, and donors are scouting for candidates who can recapture that 2008 momentum. Recent polls show figures like Pete Buttigieg and California Governor Gavin Newsom leading the pack, with occasional strong showings from Kamala Harris. The Hill reports at least 24 Democrats expected to compete in the next primary for the Democrat Party's nomination, showing Democrats are pretty far from finding an actual leader. Let's discuss more with Terrance Bates and Beau Davidson. Terrance, they just don't have it. It's like Republicans, our bench is so deep, as they say, we can't hardly decide who we even want for that number one seat, right? The Democrats, they have a different situation, but I don't believe this is just bad luck, Terrance. I think this is a lack of real ideas. It's a lack of God in their party, and it's a lack of their authenticity. Nobody believes what any of them are selling because they lie so much.
And Dr. Gina, I would encourage Democrats not to look for a personality, but to look for a platform. There's no platform. There's no solid platform within the party. And that's the first Achilles heel they're going to have to deal with. When your platform is, okay, well, we're just going to fight Donald Trump and Donald Trump is bad. Well, Americans want more. I think voters are a bit more savvy. Well, many voters are a bit more savvy, and they want some solutions to the issues that they're addressing, solutions that Republicans are bringing every day. Whether you like the solutions or not, at least Republicans are bringing something to the table and saying, here's how we want to tackle some of the challenges you're dealing with. I'm not so sure Democrats can argue that they're coming to the table with solutions. All they're coming to the table with is Donald Trump is bad, vote Democrat. And that just doesn't fly, Beau.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I'm going to tell you something. Of all the names that were just mentioned, there's one name that was not mentioned. And as they're looking for a new Barack Obama, I believe there is one. And I'll tell you this, it's someone very, very close to Barack Obama. And I believe it's Michelle Obama. She's a formidable person. There are people that would rally around her, African-American, female, well-spoken. Look, I'm just being honest. This is someone that has been floated before. She's never formally entered a race. She is so much better than Kamala Harris. She's so much better than Gavin Newsom. I'm just telling you, as you look at 2028, keep your eyes on her. There's someone, she's just as charismatic. She's smart. And I'm just saying, if people don't like her, I understand MAGA doesn't like her. But if you're looking at someone who can rally that party together, and Terrance, it may not be in policy, it may be personality, but I'm telling you, she's someone to look at.
I get that. I don't see her doing it, but I get it. I hear you. Go ahead, Dr. G.
Yeah, what was it that UFC fighter said in his victory? Oh, never mind. Changing gears. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is facing growing political pressure as a U.S. brokered framework agreement to end the conflict with Iran. It appears to fall short of many of Israel's key objectives. Earlier this week, the Israeli leader said he did not feel bound by the pending peace deal with the U.S. and Iran, and that he has no intention, actually, of withdrawing forces from his fight against Hezbollah Lebanon. There you go. I'll get it. I was born in Lebanon, Missouri, so I always want to say Lebanon like Lebanon, Missouri. I don't know why they pronounce it differently, but they just do. Joining us now with analysis, the director for Jihad Watch, Robert Spencer. He knows how to pronounce Lebanon. Good morning. We've already seen tensions flare between Netanyahu and President Trump over this effort to end the war in Iran. But, you know, one of my former producers that I talked to a lot said, President Trump knows the art of entertainment, and you know how the stars, like, I never know who, but like, because I don't pay attention to Hollywood, but like Madonna and, Taylor Swift will get in a big fight because if their popularity is going down a little bit. Could this be a little bit of that? Because I'm not really buying that I think they're besties.
Dr. Gina, it's a very real possibility because we saw last year that they carried out a very elaborate program of exactly this kind of deception, looking as if there was a big rift between the two right in the run-up toward the joint U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran. And so it could be that all this is happening again. It would actually make sense of this very strange deal that the president seems to be committed to, that doesn't seem to take into account the fact that Israel is not striking in Lebanon out of some kind of imperialistic imperative, but only as a matter of self-defense against Hezbollah strikes on Israeli civilians.
Robert, let's have a real honest conversation about this supposed agreement, this peace deal with Iran. It's technically a memorandum of understanding, which basically says we'll continue to talk, we'll continue to come back to the negotiating table. So is that really a deal and an agreement? And I asked that question because just this morning, President Trump, while speaking with Egypt's president, said that the agreement isn't necessarily finalized and that he reserves the right to back out of it or to resume military operations, which in my mind muddies the water a little bit more.
Well, Terrance, it's a good thing that the water is being muddied in this case, because the deal, as it has been explained at the highest levels, for a long time it was covered up, it was rumored, it was concealed, but it all seems to have come out now. I was in the New York Post this morning and Bloomberg, and they're all saying that the United States is going to help the Islamic Republic of Iran get access to upwards of $300 billion, which would enable the Islamic Republic to resume its jihad against the United States and against Israel. The president has said that no, the new leaders in the Islamic Republic are different, but there's actually been no public indication of that. And so it's very, very encouraging to hear that the president is reserving his right to resume military operations if the Iranians don't keep to this deal, because the deal is extremely unfavorable in the first place to the interests of the United States. And in the second place, the Iranian regime has never kept any agreements that it has made with the U.S. or the West in the past. So there's no indication that it would keep this one either.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't understand how you get a memo of understanding from liars, perpetual liars. It's very, very difficult to do so. But Robert, turning back to the home front, I want to get your attention on this and talk about the recent article you have in Jihad Watch now. You report anti-Jewish hate crimes are up by a jaw-dropping 150% in New York City just last month. This follows a previous report that revealed these sort of hate crimes also increased 71% just over a year ago. You say the situation is getting even worse under Mayor Zohran Mamdani's leadership. Tell us more about what's happening. I really had hoped that we had turned the page on anti-Semitic crimes, but it seems like the trend is not going that direction.
No, it's actually just the opposite, and it's directly Mamdani's fault. You could take the Trump slogan, promises made, promises kept, and apply it to the spike in anti-Semitism in New York, because Mamdani was consistently hostile to Jews and Israel during his campaign. He refused to condemn the phrase globalize the Intifada. He said, oh, no, it's a matter of free speech. Nobody was talking about outlawing the phrase or something like that. It had nothing to do with free speech. What it is, though, is an endorsement, a call for attacks on Israeli civilians around the world. He refused to condemn this. He refused to distance himself from it. He immediately, once he became mayor, removed protections on houses of worship, against demonstrations in front of them, which was obviously meant to allow for violent and hostile demonstrations in front of synagogues. He has made it very clear that it's just not going to be a priority for his mayoral tenure that to protect particularly Jews and supporters of Israel in general. And so people are paying attention. They can see what the mayor is like. They can see that they can do these things and get off scot-free, and they're acting upon it. And that's why anti-Semitic crimes are up 150%, and it's probably going to get worse.
Yeah, and it's not just anti-Semitism that is the problem, Robert. You know, we look at countries like England, like many actually in Europe right now, who have just let Sharia law take over. My daughter lived in England for a couple of years and said it was she couldn't go outside at night. She felt in too much danger to go outside at night. And I was there just recently. Terrance too saw things I just never thought I'd see, and it really is as if the law has been conflated, a little bit like you described, Mamdani. The law has been conflated with their political rhetoric.
Yep. In Britain, it's complete at this point. The Labour government wants to please the Muslim community. It apparently has decided that this is the way that wants the society to go. It needs their votes. And so everybody is talking about a two-tier system of policing where native Britons are punished much more severely and crimes committed by Muslim migrants, most notably the notorious rape and grooming gangs, go unpunished, or they get a slap on the wrist. This is directly the result of the leftist government in Britain, and it's a warning for the entire West about what happens when the left is firmly ensconced in power.
And we saw that horrific murder. It was just last week, right? Barely a blip on the radar in American media because they don't want to tell us the truth about it, Beau.
Exactly. And see, this is something that's directly a result of the mass Muslim migration. You have people beheading people on the street because the Quran says, when you meet the unbelievers, strike the necks. This is something that we have seen throughout Islamic history, but we have not seen it in Britain or in the West in general up until recently. And I'll tell you something, we're going to see a whole lot more of it in the days and months and years to come.
All right, Robert Spencer, thank you so much for being with us. We always appreciate your perspective.
Thanks, you,
Robert.
Coming up, Democrat Hakeem Jeffries says his party is not ruling out impeaching President Trump in the event they take Congress in this year's midterm election. If that isn't enough to get you to vote, we're going to have those details in just a moment. But first, AMAC is back with a boot camp for patriots, a special two-day event meant to empower patriots to be more engaged. An incredible event. Tickets are limited. Surprise your father with them for Father's Day. Here's a little preview. Take a look.
Let's go!
Rav family, it's time to stand up and fight back.
We have to be tough.
Join fellow patriots at the America First Warehouse for AMAC's Boot Camp for Patriots.
Yes, sir!
An incredible two-day event designed to teach you how policy gets implemented, how grassroots movements create change, and how you can help shape the future of America.
Proud and free and standing tall.
On June 19th, don't miss Real America's Voice live on site with a special taping of Live from Studio 6B, The Freedom Truck, live music and barbecue. And on June 20th, it's Vendor Village, followed by AMAC's Boot Camp for Patriots live event. Tickets are limited and going fast. Scan the QR code now and reserve your spot today. 2 days of training, fellowship, and action brought to you by AMAC. Get your tickets now before they're gone.
Sound good.
For a second. No, it's my show, pal. Yeah.
You don't want me to read the quote because it's going to make you foolish. Read it. That is only one step in building a usable nuclear weapon that could take additional complex steps that could take months or even years. That's the context. You're going to believe, but no, Bill. Just say I'm corrected. Let's move on. And I'm not going to say that because it wouldn't be true. You made the mistake, and this is the quote. I did not make a mistake. Yeah, go ahead. Keep quiet for a second. No, it's my show, pal. If you don't like it, you don't want me to read the quote because it's going to make you foolish. Read it.
What are we listening to right now?
That was Bill O'Reilly and Chris Cuomo going at it about something.
Oh, fine.
I like watching them debate.
Yeah, they've been
They're
doing
good.
that for a while now.
Yeah, they have.
Let's spill some tea.
All right, Let's Spill Some Tea is sponsored by Artillery Tea Company, veteran-owned and built for those who serve. For America's 250th anniversary, they've released a very limited run of the Founders Precision Brewing Kit. That's 4 premium sample packs of 24 total servings of their most popular flavors, a precision brewing magnet to quickly and easily extract maximum flavor out of each brew, an exclusive Brew for the Brave sticker, a tactical tea guide, and so much more. For a limited time, they are offering this $90 value for just $49.95 with free shipping. That's $40 off or a 44% savings. This special anniversary price does end soon, so scan the QR code right now to secure your supply before they run out. All right, time to spill some tea, and in the cup today, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is leaving the door open to possible impeachment proceedings against President Trump if Democrats retake the House in the midterm elections. During an appearance on NBC's Meet the Press, Jeffries said Democrats have not ruled anything out when asked about the possibility of another impeachment. At the same time, he claims the party's immediate priorities remain lowering costs and winning back control of Congress. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
We haven't ruled anything in or ruled anything out in terms of accountability. What we have said is that our focus is going to be to make life more affordable for the American people. We have to drive down the high cost of living. We have to restore the American dream, which a lot of people understandably have concluded is broken right now. When you work hard and play by the rules in this country, we believe that you should live an affordable life, a comfortable life, and a good life. That means a good paying job, good housing, good health care, a good education for your children, and when it's all said and done, a good retirement.
All right, let's discuss more with Terrance, Beau, and Dr. Gina. Terrance, want to get your thoughts first on this. It's hard for me to even take anything that Hakeem Jeffries says seriously.
Yeah, but the reality is people do vote based on kitchen table issues, based on their quality of life. And so that's got to be the focus. There is an affordability crisis, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. There is an affordability crisis. Prices are a little bit higher. Yes, it's given circumstances, but people are feeling the pinch a little bit. And so work needs to be done. The problem is Democrats are just talking about the affordability crisis, but they're not really offering up any solutions to kind of help bring prices down for Americans, to try to help deal with the crisis. And to me, that's the major problem, Beau. There's no solutions being floated, simply highlighting the issue. Yeah, we all know it, we all feel it, but how are you going to help bring down some of the pain that people are feeling?
Not only do they not have a plan or a solution for it, Terrance, they're the ones that got us in trouble in the first place. A lot of their bad policies are exactly what got us there. So not only do they have not a solution, they were the reason to get us here. And I'll just say this. I don't think their platform, if they won back the House, will have anything to do with lowering costs for Americans. They are going to try to impeach President Trump because that's their #1 platform, Gina. I just feel like that's what they want to do. That's all they got.
Yeah, that's such a great point. Both of your points resonate completely. Someone in our chat said the other day, I thought this was so astute. They said, everything that used to be expensive, like televisions, computers, things like that, have gotten cheap. But everything that used to be cheap, like vegetables, fruit, things like that, have gotten super expensive. It really is true. And something does need to be done about it, Emily.
Yeah, completely agree. All right, great discussion, as always. Coming up, Dr. Gina is standing by with the top story she's keeping her eye on today. The one to watch is after the break. Don't go anywhere.
They feed you headlines, cut the frame. Say it loud enough, call it fact. Change the words, dodge the blame. Sell the lie, then double back. They say trust us, don't ask why. Look away, don't use your eye. But truth don't need a costume. Truth don't hide. Truth bomb. Tick, tick, truth bomb. Say once, then it's gone. Truth bomb. Lights on, truth.
Right. Welcome back to American Sunrise. I'm Dr. G. Thanks so much for being with us this morning. It is time now for the one to watch. Here's what I'm keeping my eye on today. The United States is preparing a time capsule to commemorate our country's 250th. This massive 900-pound time capsule will be buried this 4th of July at Independence National Historical Park in Philly, where it will remain sealed until the year, get this, you guys, 2276. America's 500th birthday. The capsule will contain nearly 200 items from all 50 states, 5 U.S. territories, and all 3 branches of government. Among the artifacts are a natural diamond from Arkansas, a whale bone from Maine, a nano-etched coin inscribed with the Constitution, and some Native American artwork. They're putting all this stuff in this little tiny capsule, like our Constitution, the Declaration of Independence originally, I believe Lincoln's letters, some things like that. All in this little tiny, it's just amazing what they can do. But here's my question for you, Beau and Terrance. If you, Beau, could put something in the time capsule, what would you put in it?
2 things, Gina. The iPhone, because in 250 years, whenever they open this
they
thing,
are putting an iPhone. They are.
Okay. Well,
yep.
Okay. That's one.
They took
That's
your
one.
idea.
or you could put an internet router in there because we're going to have Starlink and it's not going to matter. The second thing I'd put in there is an American guitar made by Martin up in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. The reason being is that is going to be a timeless instrument that will never go out of style and you still should be able to play it. Terrance?
All right. Well, because I'm the resident Android user, I'm putting an Android phone in there just to get you iPhone users upset. But the other thing I would put in there, don't get mad at me, but I'm putting in there Michael Jackson's Thriller album. Now that comes to mind immediately because I just saw the Michael Jackson movie last night, but I think it's a timeless classic, and that's what I'm putting in mine.
Would you put the vinyl in there, Terrance? The vinyl, or which medium would you put it in?
I hadn't thought of that. Like, be it a CD.
That's important.
You know what? Yes, that's a great idea. I would put the vinyl in. Just to show people that at one point in time we used, wax to play music. So yeah, I would put the vinyl in. That's a great question right there. I hadn't thought of that. I'd put the vinyl in. Yep, absolutely.
And to see the artwork, because we don't do artwork anymore. Like in the digital world, you had this great picture of Michael, and so many artists that used artwork was such a big deal, and it's not anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It will be. Yeah. I really think we're going to come back to that. I think things that are real and touchable and handwritten, I think all of those kinds of things are going to be a premium in the next generation with all the AI. But if I were to put two things in there, and I don't know if they're doing this, I would put a copy of a King James or a Geneva Bible, and I would put a hymnal. Okay. I would put the good old Baptist hymnal in there, because I worry so much that churches have gotten so far away from both of those things, frankly.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
That I think that we need to make sure they are there for the ages. Yeah. So those would be my things.
So anyone want to wager on whether this time capsule buried in Philadelphia actually makes it another 250 years? Or does someone in Philly dig it up and steal it? It is Philadelphia, and I'm sorry, but Philly can be